Do every act of your life as if it were your last. Never value the advantages derived from anything involving breach of faith, loss of self-respect, hatred, suspicion, or execration of others, insincerity, or the desire for something which has to be veiled and curtained. Treat what you don't have as non-existent. Look at what you have, the things you value most, and think of how much you'd crave them if you didn't have them, but be careful. Don't feel such satisfaction that you start to overvalue them that it would upset you to lose them. What am I but a little flesh, a little breath, and the thinking part that rules the whole? When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people. Unless it affects the common good, it will keep you from doing anything useful. You'll be too preoccupied with what so-and-so is doing, and why, and what they're saying, and what they're thinking, and what they're up to, and all the other things that throw you off and keep you from focusing on your own mind. Since it is possible that you might depart from life this very moment, regulate every act and thought accordingly. Everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered. In a little while you will have forgotten everything, in a little while everything will have forgotten you. Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions, than your own soul. All things fade into the storied past, and in a little while are shrouded in oblivion. How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says, or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy. It's time you realize that you have something in you more powerful and miraculous than the things that affect you and make you dance like a puppet. What's in my thoughts at this moment? Fear, jealousy, desire, feelings like that. Your mind will take on the character of your most frequent thoughts. Souls are dyed by thoughts. Everything is interwoven, and the web is holy. None of its parts are unconnected. They are composed harmoniously, and together they compose the world, one world, made up of all things, one divinity, present in them all. How much time he saves who does not look to see what his neighbor says, or does or thinks. Disgraceful, for the soul to give up when the body is still going strong. Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind, for the soul is dyed by the thoughts. And why should we feel anger at the world? As if the world would notice. It is quite possible to be a good man without anyone realizing it. Pride is a master of deception. When you think you're occupied in the weightiest business, that's when he has you in his spell. Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if you will ever dig. Remember how long thou hast already put off these things, and how. The pride which is proud of want of pride is the most intolerable of all. Life is short, that's all there is to say. Get what you can from the present, thoughtfully, justly, unrestrained moderation. Attend to the matter before you, whether it is an opinion or an act or a word. You suffer this justly, for you choose rather to become good tomorrow than to be good today. Everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered. Stupidity is expecting figs in winter, or children in old age. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and already carried past us, and another follows and is gone. Accustom yourself to master tilings of the greatest difficulty, and which you seem to despair of, for if you observe, the left hand, though for want of practice, 'tis insignificant to other business, yet it holds the bridle better than the right, because it has been used to it. Hippocrates, having cured many sicknesses, fell sick himself and died. No longer wander at hazard, for neither wilt thou read thy own memoirs, nor the acts of the ancient Romans and Hellenes, and the selections from books which thou wast reserving for thy old age. Hasten then to the end which thou hast before thee, and throwing away idle hopes, come to thy own aid, if thou carest at all for thyself, while it is in thy power. You've given aid and they've received it, and yet, like an idiot, you keep holding out for more, to be credited with a good deed, to be repaid in kind. Why? Bear in mind that everything that exists is already fraying at the edges, and in transition, subject to fragmentation and to rot, or that everything was born to die. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Pride is a master of deception. When you think you're occupied in the weightiest business, that's when he has you in his spell. Use the setback to practice other virtues. Suppose that a god announced that you were going to die tomorrow or the day after. Unless you were a complete coward, you wouldn't kick up a fuss about which day it was. What difference could it make? Now recognize that the difference between years from now and tomorrow is just as small. People who are excited by posthumous fame forget that the people who remember them will soon die too, and those after them in turn, until their memory, passed from one to another like a candle flame, gutters and goes out.